think darkness is your ally. You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it.
What is this fucking movie called?
The Star Wars fan film, turns out.
Yeah,
it's Star Wars Master of
Reset
Shadow.
that history.
Oh. It's Star Wars Master of Shadow.
Hi, welcome to NTMA Productions. My name is Connor. You're
I'm Joey.
watching this, I guess.
Now that we got Connor out of his wheelchair and on the couch, we can start talking about this movie. Second of our Star Wars fan films was Star Wars Master of Shadow, with a lowercase s in Shadow. Connor, what was the plot of Star Wars Master of Shadow?
Visionary
By
filmmaker
Jason.
Jeremy Shea.
Was it Jeremy though?
Yeah.
Visionary filmmaker Jeremy Shea made a Star Wars movie that made absolutely no fucking sense at all. Clearly it was like the first episode of his fan film, but first off, I mean, I don't know what the plot was. There was a master and an apprentice, and the master died. There were some bounty hunters in it. There were a couple Sith that showed up. This movie showed like 50 plot points, none of which I remember because it was confusing to me. Joey, what did you think of Masters of Shadow, a Star Wars story by my man Jeremy the Tommy Wiseau Schrey?
Well, like any Star Wars fan film, it was bad because there's no story and they didn't have a budget to like have cool sets and shit. But if I'm being 100% completely honest, the special effects were decent for a fan film, you know? Shit, they just make it hum or whatever Jeremy did, you know?
Jeremy was in the
But I mean, yeah, it was so shit. Sorry, Jeremy.
Sorry, Jeremy.
If you're watching this, fuck you.
Dude, it's possible, man. Last time we made a fan fiction review, some guy was mad hating on us.
Really?
He's like, I know the guy who made this film, and he worked really hard on it.
Fuck
And
that
it's
guy.
like, you're the guy. You worked on this fucking movie, and we shit on it. So anyway.
Connor, what did you think of Star Wars Master of Shadow?
Star Wars Master of Shadow, like Joey said, the CGI that was original, they had some stock footage, but the CGI that was original was alright.
The ship looked like Voyager from Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah.
It mixed with the
like
Millennium
the
Falcon.
main ship,
to be
it was
honest.
like a Voyager, I agree. But the weird thing about this movie was, so the opening credits was like, this is after the fall of the Empire and Luke Skywalker, whatever. But the ships were just like, I don't know if there's like an asset he took from After Effects or found a model or they just didn't know because these people were foreigners. But one of the ships was a Jedi cruiser from like, or not a Jedi cruiser, the Republic, like, the ships the fucking clones flew around.
The X-Wings?
No, because they had the,
Y-Wings?
when they were over the arcs.
The ARCs.
And then they had TIE bombers and
They had X-Wing though.
TIE fighters, and then later there were X-Wings, but I only think the only time I remember an X-Wing is when it was parked on the
No, it was fine, and Aiden was like, the new Battlefront game looks good.
No, that was the... I'm
No.
pretty sure that was the Republic.
No, that was a nice one.
Oh, it was? Well, maybe they just had all of them.
Who knows, who cares?
But it was weird. Then they had, like, stock footage of the Jedi Temple. Getting into the story... Oh, and there were some awkward moments, like there was some guy laying on the ground and it looked like the guy was on camera and like moved or something.
Yeah.
So the lightsaber awkwardly just like like went back in, but it was like super fast.
Boppity boppity, I'm a
Trying to
Jedi.
make it look like the guy got
Jedis, the plural of Jedi
Don't
is
forget
Jedi,
the-
not Jedis.
Yeah, there
Don't
was
forget the
title.
karate scene.
there was a
Yeah.
scene where they were doing karate and shit, and I really couldn't tell what characters were what, but there was one. What was it? Oh yeah, the title card. I was thinking like, this title card's terrible. There's a couple typos. It says Jedis. Ain't much worse than what George Lucas was putting in all of his movies because there wasn't a single Star Wars title crawl up to like The Force Awakens that wasn't just riddled with typos, but he had like Jedis and even the title card didn't make any sense. And then when I learned this guy was foreign, and everyone in the movie was foreign and could barely speak English, I had to give him a pass. Then I was impressed with the title card, because then it's like, George Lucas, what's your excuse? Because this title card was definitely bad by someone who can understand English to the fullest, but this guy that must have been French or German or something, somewhere in Europe, kind of impressive. But no, this movie was fucking garbage.
Yep.
Aiden, what did you think of Star Wars: The Master of Shadow by Jeremy Stry?
It looked okay for what it was. The plot where the apprentice becomes a Sith and then does nothing was terrible. The acting was all foreign people doing English, and it was shit. And overall, it was better than Turncoat because it didn't look like it was shot in some guy's backyard. And it looked like there was a decent amount of production value in it, but it was still kind of a piece of crap.
I also want to point out real quick, I'm looking at the thumbnail right now. Do you remember the topless girl?
Yeah, I don't remember a topless girl with a volcano back.
With a volcano back and a red lightsaber?
Yeah, I was literally just
That
thinking
looks
that.
way cooler than anything that's in the movie.
Yeah.
mean,
I
guess
think
it
Jeremy's
costs
like, I
us
want a topless
weird
girl.
stuff rather than a entire movie, you know?
I feel like Jeremy owns a construction business and paid for this with his own money instead of making Mac and
Jeremy's
Star
probably an
Wars.
accountant who's like, I love Star Wars.
He's like, I watched the Star
He
Wars, I
borrowed
like
some
American
money from-
Star Wars.
I love an American
Borrowed
film.
some money from his cousin Tommy.
Maybe it's kind of racist, but I think he
Jeremy
gets a
Weissel.
foreign pass.
Oh, hi, Mark.
He gets a pass on some things in this movie because he's foreign. Turncoat gets a pass on some shit because they're young. But honestly, I still gotta give it to Turncoat. Even though they were all like 15
Yeah,
to 20
I think
years old,
Turncoat's-
college kids,
Yeah.
I was more impressed with it. Because yeah, they
I
had
was
good
more
effects.
I was more into Turncoat.
Turncoat, I could more so understand the story, even though I couldn't understand the story. And I felt like those 5 kids that were in the movie did all the work on the movie. You see Jay Stry's movie, and there's like 2,000 fucking people in the credits.
Yeah, it took over 800,000 people to do the Mustafar scene.
It took over 800,000 people to do the scene where the lightsaber goes through and kills the guy. There's like...
It's like when Civil War soldiers would crawl through go through the battlefield again and stab people just to make sure they were dead.
Put them out of their misery, and so they don't crawl back to camp or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was put them out of their misery.
Alright, boys, next Star Wars movie. Let's see how many more of these we can take.
And that's the cut.
That's cut.